To do amazing, so good luck tonight.
Christiana Fogler went to her doctor like it was any other checkup.
I realized I'm over 40 and it's time to get a mammogram. And so I went in for my first one.
And after her first mammogram, she was called back in.
I saw where they had my images up and there were all these white arrows. And I thought, oh, that can't be good.
They found 2 lumps in her breast, so the doctor did a surgical biopsy to test the lumps to see if it was cancer.
One came out perfectly fine and the other one came back as a precursor to what looks like the start of cancer cells. So it could develop into something cancerous in the future.
And Christiana decided she needed to do something.
I feel like I'm a ticking time bomb.
So she went to see a breast surgeon in Colorado Springs.
When I first saw her, she had had a couple of biopsies that were abnormal. They weren't cancer, but they were suspicious.
So when Christiana told Dr. Pomeranke her mother had both breast cancer and ovarian cancer before she passed away,
having a family member that you know close that has already died of a cancer of this nature, I thought, you know, I just want to take the risk away.
they decided to test Christiana for specific cancer genes.
BRCA1 and BRCA2 are both associated with breast and ovarian cancer, but BRCA1 does tend to have a higher risk for breast and ovarian cancer compared to BRCA2.
When a patient comes in for genetic testing, Fuller takes a detailed family history, going all the way back to their great-grandparents.
There's certain red flags that key me in to whether there is a significant risk for hereditary cause for their cancer. Some of those being diagnosed at a young age, under the age of 50, or when multiple individuals are diagnosed with the same or related cancers, or when one individual is diagnosed with 2 different types of cancer.
That was the case for Christiana. Her test came back positive for the BRCA2 gene.
BRCA1 tends to be younger patients, very aggressive tumors. BRCA2 tends to be more kind of average age, more average looking breast cancer.
After Christiana learned she has an 80% chance of having cancer,
I realized that it's completely irresponsible of me to the people in my life, both professionally and personally, to carry that kind of risk in the future. So I thought, you know, let's clean it out. Let's do what we need to do.
most doctors recommend individuals wait until their mid-20s to have genetic testing for hereditary cancer syndrome. But the genetic test is a pretty easy process.
It's just a simple blood draw, but it's certainly a very a long and complex process when it gets to the lab.
Fuller says if a test comes back positive, they will triple check it before confirming they have a gene that could lead to cancer.
A negative result or a normal result does not rule out the chance that you might have a gene that's increasing the risk for cancer. Genetic testing is not 100%. It's pretty darn good, 99.9%.
Since Christiana tested positive, she encouraged her sister to get checked.
She had a mammogram and her first, you know, she had a lump that was also questionable. So that's a scary thing to think. And I thought, oh no, I don't want my sister, you know, having this as well.
And with the good news of her sister,
She did come back negative and her test came back negative. So she's in the clear as far as that goes.
she wanted to be in the clear too, so she decided to get a double mastectomy.
The first time I had the discussion, it just seemed so daunting and awful. And I went and sat in my car and just cried in the parking lot and thought, you know, I can't do this. This is too big. This is too much.
But thanks to the testing, they caught it early and did the double mastectomy a little differently.
So when we do the implant procedure first, we wait 3 months, allow scar tissue to form around the implant, and then we do the mastectomy. The mastectomy part is actually quite a bit easier than the reconstruction. And by doing it this way, we can really reduce the amount of recovery time they have.
That will remove all risk, which means, I shouldn't say all risk, it's 98% risk-free, which then takes me down to only a 2% chance of having anything occur in the future, which is actually less than, you know, a typical woman faces.
And she wants anyone with doubts or questions to consider genetic counseling.
Waiting too long, your options become smaller and smaller and smaller, and if, God forbid, you do have cancer, earlier detection the better. They've done so much with breast cancer research that it's not a death sentence. So please find out early on and, you know, choose life.